The first thing we will do is take a tour of Autocad's user interface. I'll identify its various elements and explain what each is used for. You'll find the application menu in the upper left-hand corner. A list of self-explanatory menus is here on the left. Notice that as I move down, the contents change on the right pane, where you can access particular commands. These two small icons at the top are very useful. You can see a list of recently opened documents or a list of currently open documents. There's a search bar at the top of the application menu where you can search for commands. This is useful if you want to locate where a particular command is in the user interface. For example, type the word lengthen, and you'll see that it's located on the ribbon tab called Home on the Modify panel. Let's keep this in mind and see if we can locate it. Click outside the application menu. So this is the ribbon tab called Home, and this is the Modify panel. I don't see lengthen here. If I click here, I can expand the Modify panel and see additional commands. This is lengthen. If I hold the mouse still, I'll see a tooltip identifying the command, and then a graphic which gives additional information. If you want even more information on how this command works, press F1 for help. This opens a separate help program, which you can read up on the command and get detailed information. You can also search help right here in this search bar. I'll type in another command name, revolve, and press enter, and I go right to that page. This area here is called the Quick Access Toolbar, and it has a list of commonly used commands such as new, open, save, save as, plot, undo, and redo. This is the Workspace drop-down menu. Let's try another workspace. 3D Basics. This changes the content of the ribbon. Now I have different tabs and panels. Let's try 3D Modeling. This gives even more detailed information on 3D tools. The commands are broken down into solid, surface, and mesh panels. Let's try the Autocad Classic workspace. This doesn't use the ribbon interface at all. Instead, it uses toolbars and palettes. Toolbars can be either floating or docked. You can drag the toolbars from their handles to move them around the screen. Here, I'll dock this floating toolbar over here. You can right-click on any toolbar button to access a list of other toolbars. There are so many different toolbars that if you opened them all, they would pretty much cover the screen. So the ribbon interface is far more efficient in consolidating all of this content. The palette interface allows you to either have it be floating like this or docked. You can drag the palette out and make it floating again. You can also choose to disallow docking so that the palette can be dragged to the edge of the screen without docking. And then you can choose to auto-hide the palette so that it only opens when you put your mouse over its title bar. And the palette is organized into tabs where you can find much more content. Let's switch back to the Drafting and Annotation workspace. The current drawing name is listed here. This area is used for online services. Here you can sign into Autodesk 360 if you want to store your drawings in the cloud. This icon launches Autodesk Exchange, where you can access additional applications which extend the functionality of AutoCAD. And here you can stay connected and access product updates and the larger AutoCAD community. This launches the help program, and you can also download offline help. If you are on a laptop computer, for example, and you don't have internet access, you can still access help. These buttons refer to the application itself, whereas these buttons are specific to the current drawing. The ribbon can be displayed in many different ways. This is the full ribbon interface that we're looking at right now. Click here to minimize to panel buttons, and then each panel is represented by a larger icon. the same commands are located on these panels. It's just packaged in a different way. I can minimize to panel titles, which saves a little more room on the screen. Or I can minimize to tabs, which is the most efficient way to look at the ribbon. This way, if I put the mouse up here and click, I'll open the Home tab and see all of its commands, but when I move the mouse away, it collapses. This large area is called the drawing window. Its upper left-hand corner has 3 elements called in-canvas controls. These open individual menus. You can toggle on the view cube here, which is an interface used for both 2D and 3D navigation. This is the navigation bar. These are scroll bars. These are tabs that allow you to look at model space or different layouts. This is the command line, and right now it's docked. I'll drag it out from its handle and make it floating. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see the coordinate readout. X, Y, and Z coordinates are listed. In this top-down 2D view, I'm only seeing X and Y coordinates change as I move the cursor. This here is called the User Coordinate System icon, or UCS icon for short, and it represents the different dimensions of space. In this case, we're looking at the X and Y axes. Finally, down here we have the drawing status bar, which has various toggles. They're on when they're blue and off when they're gray. Each status bar toggle has a menu that you can access by right-clicking for specific commands. Finally, in this area, you have commands which are specific to the drawing and commands which are specific to the application itself. You should now have a familiarity with AutoCAD's user interface and the terms used to identify its parts.